Hello and welcome to the 14th episode of the Fandom Flux podcast. As always, am your host. Well, not quite always, but as always, I'm your host, KCW. With me this week, we have a very limited cast this week because of things happening. We have Kenchi 618.
Behold, the being who walks for the Mason-Dixon line, spreading the stories from beyond the seas, and prophecies to be beholden for the masses. Kenchi 618, for I am the Dayman, fighter of the Nightman, master of karate, and friendship for everyone.
You forgot Champion of the Sun.
Damn it! Damn it! I did that from memory.
Also, did you write that down?
No,
the whole speech at the beginning?
No, I didn't. I repeated it in my head for the last 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I forgot the best part.
And we have King of Zero X.
Everybody else is dead.
Yeah, Sisa couldn't make it because he has a thing starting probably from now until some other time. No, it ends soon, I think. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't really matter.
Probably ending at some other time.
And Ethan dropped out because he has personal stuff going on. And we were going to have Chris on, but she has entirely failed to show up.
She doesn't like Y chromosomes, I guess. That's cool.
Yeah.
She completely missed my new cologne. I bought a new cologne. I bought Sex Panther. It was made with bits of real panther.
I still don't know whether that's a joke or not.
You brought some sexual panther for her.
That sounds creepy now. I'm going to stop saying it.
Yeah.
You still haven't told me what bits of the panther it is.
Yeah.
I still think you smell like cat gallbladder.
It doesn't say what parts of panther it's made from. Oh, I know that it's potent.
I imagine it would be if it was like cat's anus or something.
Yeah. Well, what is the most potent part of the panther?
I don't know. Google it.
The heart.
What is the stankiest part of a panther?
Did you
actually type stankiest rather than stinkiest?
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm Googling it.
Really?
I wonder if it comes up in predictive searches.
Did you really just Google the stankiest? Did you really type stankiest or stinkiest?
Stankiest. Stankiest.
I'm ashamed of you right now.
Yeah, it's okay. You and everybody else is.
Oh, well, it comes up with flowers. That's disappointing.
Stinkiest person I ever smelled. He must have been wearing Sex Panther by Odeon.
Have you got smelly hair syndrome?
Google.
Is that a thing?
Apparently. Google failed you. Accept it.
Oh, it's fucking Daily Mail, of course it is. Fucking useless. Better as fucking toilet paper. Daily Mail is, by the way, a very terrible, terrible newspaper in this country. Kind of equivalent to your Fox News kind of thing. That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Anyway. Maybe dialed up a couple of notches, but, you know. So, we did introductions, right?
Yep.
I've completely lost track after the Panther thing.
What we've been doing.
What have we been doing? We'll start with Kenchi, I think we'll start with.
Kenchi's going to get a job at a fancy news station, writing for the TV anchors. Because that's what I interviewed for, on Thursday. And apparently I impressed them by doing something extremely basic that none of the people they've interviewed have done yet. Which is really stupid. No, when you, for the writing test, they gave me, 3 bits of raw news and made me put it into 3 separate scripts that, an anchor would actually read on air. Mm-hmm. And when you write a script, you're supposed to, when you write a script for an anchor, you're supposed to put in cues. Because, when you watch the news, they'll be talking on camera and then they'll cut to footage of while the anchor is still talking. And then they'll cut back to the anchor, or then they'll
maybe they'll switch to another camera or something.
Yeah, and then other times they'll switch to a piece of footage that actually has sound behind it, and you don't hear the anchor anymore. you're supposed to write in cues so the anchor knows when to shut up or when the camera's not going to be on them. And apparently nobody else does that when they go in for the interview and have to do the writing test. They don't put cues in. Putting cues in, something I was taught to do instinctually whenever I write a script, is apparently what impressed them enough to maybe get me the job, which was extremely stupid.
Yeah, but it's also kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious.
So no more Kmart for you then?
Probably not, hopefully. I'm never... really, this weekend and Black Friday really made me realize how much I don't want to work at a normal job. Screw that.
I'll be honest, it's the weirdest things that can actually make it seem like you're hireable. It's becoming a sort of employment kind of podcast at this point, but fucking whatever. I'm pretty sure the fact that I do a podcast made the interviewer like me in my last interview. Because it was like a marketing position, and doing a podcast says you're like outgoing and you'll, try weird things and you promote yourself pretty well, I guess.
Maybe I should add podcast to my resume.
Oddly enough, maybe. I mean, it's something, you're basically doing a show in reality, aren't you? So.
And I do TV things, so maybe that'll help. All right, I'm going to try that. I'm going to add podcast, and you're going to be a reference, so I need your phone number and all of your personal information.
And everything about...
If they're willing to fucking put plus 44 for England? For fucking national area code?
Hey, they're not going to call you. They're just going to know, this guy knows someone from England. He might be legit. They're not going to call you.
He knows someone from England. He is cultured.
Yeah. We're in America. We think everyone from England is like Sherlock Holmes or some shit. I don't know.
Top hats and canes. Top hats and canes.
Yeah.
I do have some very fancy hats. But, yeah.
But anyway, that's what I've been doing this week.
Yeah. Okay. Zero, what have you been doing this week?
It's been a slow kind of week. I had a freaking research paper due for my honors class, so I had to do that. And then, I'm so relieved it's all done. And I can't wait for the VGX because Nintendo said they're going to announce something, and it's going to be big, and there's all this speculation. They released information on Majora's Mask Assist Trophy, and there's rumors that they're working on Majora's Mask Remake. And then they go to the reveal for Nintendo, and it's Cranky Kong as a playable character.
Cranky Kong, woo!
Something that was already leaked, actually. They revealed something that was already leaked. So it's Cranky Kong too. It's just another playable character. It's not like if it was a new character for say Smash, Super Smash Brothers, I'd be okay with that. Yeah.
That would at least be something worth noting.
Yeah, but Cranky Kong. What does Cranky Kong do? I watched the video, and he can jump on things that other people can't, and kill things that other people can't. He jumps. He basically has a Mario jump. It's...
You sound disappointed.
Disappointment. And then, if that wasn't enough, mere minutes afterwards, I find out that the Fallout 4 so-called teaser site, Survivor 2299, was a complete hoax by a complete jerk who just wanted to watch the world burn.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a bit.
That's two compounding disappointments right there, like moments after another.
That's life, brother.
Poor Zero.
Yeah. So in order to cheer myself up, I bought myself an early Christmas present, and that would be Final Fantasy VII. I'm hoping that maybe some nice RPG action can lift me out of my slump I found myself in.
You're not going to appreciate how amazing that game is, and that makes me sad.
It being like 15 to 18 years old, yeah, he's probably not going to get it. Well, I say get it. I didn't get it either, but, whatever. It's Final Fantasy. Who gives a shit?
That game is great.
Mm-hmm.
I will fight
you
it is. If I knew where you were. If I could get to where you were. Those fighting words.
Well,
you can talk about 8 all you want to. You can talk about 8 all you want to. You never talk about 7.
Actually, I have something to just mention real quick. Kenchi, you know how we talked about weird superpowers? Yeah. There's a manga. It's called Rising X Raideen, and there's a whole group of people called strangers, and they're in normal society, and people have superpowers. It's a harem manga, and the main character's ability is that from any part of his body, he can shoot out a white gel.
Okay.
A large amount. And if you want a weird superpower, it doesn't conduct electricity. Like it's like an insulator. And like I guess the main girl has like lightning powers or whatever, so he can get shocked to pretty much to what would normally kill somebody. And what he does is he basically kind of wins by either A, grossing people out by shooting white gel out of everywhere, making them slip, or shooting white gel at them still. He has to like use strategy with his other group members because his white gel literally does nothing except make people fall over and be like, "Oh my gosh, this is disgusting."
And that's the main character.
That's the main character. Yes.
I need to see this.
It's Rising X Raideen. I'll put a link to it in the thing, but it's so funny because like he's with a bunch of like his group is there's like one person who has an actual good power and that's like lightning. She can turn her limbs into lightning and stuff, and then like somebody else can control one bug, and another person can shoot like a little tiny fireball thing, which is really tiny and insignificant. And it's just hilarious. 'Cause
and it's relatively new.
Yeah, it's relatively it's been going on since June of last year, and I think it's based off maybe a light novel series or something.
Yeah, that's still pretty new. I'm gonna read the hell out of this.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. It's like because the guy wanted to be like he wanted to be one of these strangers. He wanted to be a hero like his entire life. He's like, I want to have superpowers. It'd be super awesome. And he's like, I could feel it coming. I could feel my superpower. And then and he shoots white gel out of his hand. He's like,
there's a metaphor in there somewhere.
It is a complete. The thing says it's freaking the genres it's marked on under manga here are ecchi and harem. I mean, honestly, it's like shonen supernatural, whatever. But ecchi and harem, it's you want to freak somebody out? Just start shooting white gel out of your hand.
Okay.
I thought that was funny. So, yeah, that's my week.
Fair enough. It's a week. So yeah, my week has been interesting. So, over a week ago, I was up at like 2 a.m, as I tend to be, because if I had the choice, I would be nocturnal. So up at 2 a.m, I hear like walking through the landing, upstairs, hallway, if you want to call it that. I hear running water and dripping water, and I think, that's new. So I put my ear to the floorboards, and there's fucking, I can hear it clear as day. There's a fucking leak in the house. So I knock on my parents' door. They come out, they say, I can't hear anything. So they go downstairs, check, there's no like water damage or anything going on in downstairs areas. They dismiss it. I can't get it out of my head because I can still hear the bloody leak, but I can't really do anything about it. So week goes by, I go downstairs, get a drink, and fucking water dripping on me. There is water damage all throughout the ceiling of the house. Between the ground floor and the first floor. So, yeah, we have like 6 dehumidifiers going on in the house at the same time. They are noisy as fuck, and we can't ever turn them off for the next 10 days.
Oh.
Sounds fun.
This house is going to be a desert, or desert-like, for the next 10 days.
Sounds wonderful.
it's going to be a bad week.
It's going to be ball soup in that house in like a week.
But the worst part of it, I think, is that because the damage is so bad, I can't do my told you so dance. I can't ever say I told you so because I fucking did. I fucking told them that there was a leak and they didn't believe me, and now there's fucking water damage. Can't say anything about it because that would be mean.
Yeah, it's real like cold over here in California. We don't have really much rain going on or any sort of water stuff, but we got like snow a little bit.
Yeah, I almost died today.
In California?
There's a little bit. We actually had snow, just a little bit, and it wasn't really even in my area. But we did have snow in California. I live in Northern California, so we're more likely to have snow.
Okay.
You're from the part of California I actually like.
Yeah, I'm from the part that is actually not covered in smog and human filth.
And apparently your uncle owns a mansion, so I'm going to be coming to where? Is that you? Is that you that said that?
Yeah, he lives.
Yeah, I thought it was you.
Yeah, but he lives in Southern California. You know, it's only a 7-hour drive.
Hey, 7 hours. Yeah, well, I got to fly over there, so you can at least make the 7-hour drive to make sure I get to stay a week in a mansion.
It is a big house. It's pretty big, you know. It's got its own big, humongous private cave, pool, golfing thing, hunting range.
So the first thing you go to is it has a big gate.
I'm mentally going.
Talk about the fucking putting green that he owns.
I'm mentally going through it in my mind. You know, he's got the whole big garage. You know, the big.
Oh, so you're doing a tour through it. So we're starting at the gate and then we're going in. And here's the living room.
Yeah. Big. He's got the whole humongous living room with I think is it 80 or 100-inch TV. It's pretty big. He's got a big projector room, sort of a mini movie theater type thing with like chairs and everything that actually look like they could be in a movie theater. With tons of candy there. Tons of candy.
Upstairs we have the balcony. Oh, here's the bathroom.
Oh, there is an actual balcony.
The gold taps. It's all like gold taps.
There are quite a few balconies. It is on a big hill, so you can kind of look over the entire town.
Also, he's got the water fountain that produces Hawaiian Punch. Don't forget that.
I wish.
What is Hawaiian Punch?
Juice?
Yeah. What flavor?
I don't know, like Red
Hawaiian,
Crush?
I guess.
It's flavored Hawaiian.
Gross. Wait, does flavored Hawaiian mean, like, Hawaiian people? Or Hawaiian pizza? So ham and pineapple. Either way, that's kind of a bad proposition for juice.
Yeah, it's basically just fruit punch.
Okay.
Basically just fruit punch. They just put Hawaii on it because why not?
Okay, so yeah, leaks and dehumidifiers. Wonderful. Gonna be a good week. Anyway, and I edited the podcast for last week, which I didn't notice this while we were recording, but as soon as I heard about this show, High School DxD, everyone at the same time went, oh yeah. Every single one of you fuckers.
Yes, we know about it.
You immediately knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's fucking popular. I know what it is. I just haven't read it. We're gotten around to actually getting into it.
Still a good show.
I'm telling you, the light novel's so funny.
Yeah. But the light novels also don't have boobs.
You're surprised we didn't know about that shit in advance? This is the Fandom Flux podcast. Name drop.
Yeah.
It's our job to know this shit.
Light novel is from first person point of view. So enjoy that.
Okay.
The main
awesome.
characters. Yeah.
Alright. And aside from that, I started playing a free-to-play game, Marvel Puzzle Quest. Don't know if any of you have played Puzzle Quest games before. It's like the RPG thing that uses Bejeweled for its fight mechanics.
I have not.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Never?
about.
Damn. Seriously? Okay. But yeah, that's a fun game. It almost goes in the collectible card game route as well, but doesn't, because you're very limited in space for your characters, and you need to actually pay for more space and such things, because it's a free-to-play game, and that's how they, earn money. So, but it's a fun game. So, I guess.
So you use Marvel characters?
Yeah, you start out with Iron Man and Black Widow and Storm, I think, and then you can unlock more by winning fights, and you can buy more using their basic currency for leveling your characters, or with hero tokens, which are just exclusively for like buying more space for characters and buying new characters, or character trait or talent upgrades.
How much for Stan Lee?
I don't think he's a character yet, but if he is, I haven't got that far, because I imagine he would be like a 4-star legendary character or something stupid like that, because he always is.
The secret boss.
Yeah, every time. It's always weird as well, especially in that Spider-Man game, where you can play as skin, and he's standing on a spider, and it's like crouched down with his knees spread. It's really creepy.
Which game is this?
It's the Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man.
I'll link a video to it right now.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny, because I think it actually has his dialogue in it.
He says like Excelsior and all that nonsense that he says all the time. That was something. I played that game. It wasn't especially good.
I
it
have
was a
that
Spider-Man
game. It's what happens when you try to combine Arkham, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, that whole Batman Arkham series, with something that doesn't work.
I guess, but the thing is, the Spider-Man movement mechanics you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Aside from Spider-Man games, so. And I would buy a game just for that, because that's always fun.
I like Spider-Man games.
Just swinging around the city and all that, it's always fun. I
think I saw in one of the top comments for that Stan Lee Spider-Man thing, it was, "This is how Stan Lee gets around it every day." Stan Lee, there was also a Stan Lee parkour video. We got somebody.
What?
Yes. Okay, so I just linked the Amazing Spider-Man thing. So let me link the parkour.
Oh, this is going to be a link-heavy podcast. God damn it.
Yeah.
It'll work for me.
Oh man, it's so great. He gets somebody else to parkour for him dressed as him.
All right, I'm not going to look at this now, because it's going to come off on the audio probably, so I'll look at that later. But I assume it's great. Ha 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 ha. Okay, there we go. Is Kenchi still there, or is he just being quiet?
I'm right here.
Yeah, it's being all...
Kenchi, watch the Stan Lee parkour video. It's so good.
I'll watch it eventually. Now is not the time for it. There are people that need to hear our words.
Our words.
Because I'm important.
The word of Kenchi
is important. So listen to me.
Okay, so that's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing. We're going to move on to the second topic, which will be... I haven't even posted the fucking topic list. So we're going to make the second topic a light one. A light and happy, nice, fun topic. Fallout 4.
This is gonna be. Someone's gonna hate this.
I'm hating it already.
Did it really offend you that badly?
It's.
I think it's amazing. I think it's hilarious.
It is pretty amazing. It's also kind of dickish, but it's pretty amazing.
You know what the guy did on the website? After he on the day of the VGX, after they realized that they're not going to announce Fallout 4 for that, he posted a video of the sad violin.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he's like, "Remember, don't be mad at Bethesda. They're an awesome company. Thanks to the whole Fallout Reddit community for deciphering all my clues. And, by the way, this is completely fake in case you don't know. And whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just, I spent, here's a quote from him. I'm one of those selfish bastards with a lot of money.
In fairness, the whole don't be mad at Bethesda thing was totally justified because for some reason people are pissed off at Bethesda over this.
Yeah, that's because Bethesda didn't immediately shoot down like they did other rumors.
Okay, so they were supposed to say this isn't real?
Yeah,
We're totally working on Fallout 4 and announce it now.
I'm not trying to justify their anger at Bethesda, necessarily, but I'm kind of playing the sort of the devil's advocate here, but they kind of actually, you know what Bethesda actually said is they mentioned that we will in the future try to shoot down these rumors a lot faster, just so you guys don't get all pissy, basically.
Yeah, it's unfortunate they have to take countermeasures that thoroughly for people on the internet being pissy.
So what are they going to do next time? Oh, no, we're not making this teaser's completely false, or whatever. They're just going to do that, like, that's not going to actually, people are still going to get pissed.
They said, if you don't hear it through an official channel like this, assume all rumors and speculation are false, said Bethesda on Twitter.
Yeah. That's logical.
Yeah. It's... The guy wanted to force Bethesda to reveal something on VGX. That's why he was, like, teasing it so much, because he wanted to try to force them to do something. Which is, you know, ridiculous in its own right.
This guy is a knobhead.
He spent $1,000 and he was going to make his own CG trailer.
So the entire internet wants to punch this guy at this point. I don't really blame them at all.
It had been going on for a long time, and if you look on the Reddit thing, they had a whole Fallout hype mega thread basically, and it went on for like 10 or 11 threads of just thousands of like comments of like, oh, I deciphered this message. Can you imagine if this is what the new Fallout 4 game is like? Oh my gosh, that would be so awesome. Oh no, oh man. And then that's all, folks. It's fake.
Well, I have to give the guy credit on one thing. He's one of the very few people in the world who's ever defeated the internet.
Yeah.
Due credit, yes.
he gets some credit. You know, I'm kind of now over the disappointment thing because I know that they're going to probably announce Fallout 4 soon anyway because they've been hinting at it already.
Oh, of course they are.
So you know, when they announce it, they'll announce it. I'm hoping for a Christmas present from Nintendo in the form of a December Nintendo Direct in which they announce something awesome. Like, you know, I'll be fine with the new Super Smash Bros. Character or something on the new Zelda game for the Wii U. Because freaking Zelda.
Cranky Kong isn't good enough for you?
Cranky Kong isn't good enough for anyone.
No one wants Cranky Kong.
Nobody wants him. He's the character you are meant to not like. He's called Cranky Kong for a reason.
Reggie Fils-Aimé, whatever you pronounce his name as, is kind of a troll.
He's such a troll. But he's the right
That's kind of great though, because he's on the internet.
Yeah.
So it fits, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Reggie's body is ready. Oh man, the thing that really upset me about VGX though was the fact that they hyped up so much about this reveal they were going to do, and then the so-called reveal that they had everybody hyped up for was leaked. The whole Cranky Kong being a playable character was leaked, like a week or two before.
Yeah, I guess you think they would announce something else.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or, no, actually, that just makes the troll even harder, so. I guess it actually played into their plans very well, if you take it in that context.
Yeah, but if you take into account the fact that, you know, the Wii U was kind of floundering recently, you know, or rather, always. A good reveal could have changed a lot of things, but you know what? Nintendo is secretive about their stuff.
Yeah, well, Nintendo's Nintendo, and they'll do Nintendo things until they fail miserably.
Or
Whatever.
succeed wonderfully. It's either a hit or a miss.
I haven't seen that in a while, so...
3DS is the number one portable thing.
That's really not...
Given it... Yeah, it's really not much of a cost.
There are
really not
two
that
of
big
them.
of a deal. It's like two and one's Vita, so
But I
you
think hasn't the 3DS like the 3DS has been doing very well lately though.
It's got some good games on it.
It's got a lot of good games. It's got Ocarina of Time, 3D.
Yeah. Have you heard of anything good from Vita?
Persona 4 Golden.
Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah, that's
only
that's
things.
because you all play Persona. What about
That's
Kenchi?
the only reason. That's the only reason my brother wants a PS Vita.
What about Kenchi, who doesn't play Vita, or who doesn't play Persona, but loves Sony? Stick his teeth into nothing. That's exactly the reaction I expected.
Didn't they have a God of War game or something?
I think they do.
Yeah, but like God of War isn't really that big a deal. Like
No,
I don't like them.
I never liked them. Mostly because Devil May Cry was better.
Mm.
Yeah, Devil May Cry is better.
The original ones, not the
Yeah, not the
other one.
yeah. Let's just not talk about that one.
Anyway. Fucking crackhead looking little piece of shit. Anyway. What was the next topic? Actually, no, we're not quite done talking about Fallout 4. Because I, personally, am absolutely looking forward to the new mods that are going to come out for Fallout 4 when it comes out.
If it's gonna, I think it's if when Fallout 4 does come out, you know it's gonna be next gen. Yeah,
That's true.
So it's going
Next gen
to
has mods, so I don't know why you bring that up.
Yeah, it's going to be. What I'm trying to say is that it's gonna have. I feel like it's gonna have maybe more potential because there's like more you can do with that engine.
I guess. You know, I was trying to, subtly segue into talking about Skyrim mods there, and you completely
mods, Skyrim mods. Subtly segue, yes.
Yeah.
Another game made by Bethesda is Skyrim. Skyrim has mods. Let us talk about them now. So subtle.
So before we started this recording, we'd been swapping mod videos for Skyrim in the chat, and we came across a couple of good ones. One of them being, the one that's gotten a lot more publicity lately, being the Macho Man Randy Savage dragons. Yeah.
Macho Man is coming for you.
With the madness, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
When the Macho Man headbutted through that wall, I almost shit myself. I don't know why.
With the big star glasses.
And he screams, yeah, every time he fucking shoots fire. It's great.
Yeah, his roar is yeah rather than y'all, which, that's pretty good.
But then there's the other one.
The other one, yeah.
It will give you
Fluttershy dragons.
It will give you nightmares.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, there's just giant yellow and pink ponies flying through the sky, breathing ice breath, and there's like a dozen of them, and they're all going, yay! And this deadpan monotone, yay! It's like murdering dozens of townsfolk.
Yay!
Yay!
It will give it'll give you nightmare. Like it honestly unnerved me a bit when they were all attacking that village.
I gotta say, there are some pretty impressive Skyrim mods. There are ones with there's some things where it's like, oh, you can just add in lightsabers, and then you can freaking make it rain trains down and find a giant fighting robot and go to the moon.
Yeah, there's some stuff like that. Not to mention the guy that got a job at Bungie because he made a gigantic mod for Skyrim. Weird thing that was.
He, what was the mod?
I forget what it was. I could probably look it up, but I don't particularly care at the moment. I guess I'll link it in the link dump. But he just made a gigantic, I think it's like dozens of hours of content added onto Skyrim, like new areas, new caves and dungeons and items and shit. And he had all this stuff hoping to get a job at Bethesda, only they didn't take the bait, and Bungie picked him up instead.
He created Falskar. Oh, Falskar, I know that mod. Falskar is a big land mod that adds a whole new region of Skyrim with voice acting and quests and everything.
Yeah. Massive project, and, well, if you want to jump in the game industry, the best way to do it is to make something, and I guess he made something, and he got a job in the game industry. Who'd have thunk it? So, credit him. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't get anywhere in life, do something. That's pretty much all there is to it. Next topic. I still haven't posted the bloody topic list in the chat. Jesus, what the fuck am I doing?
Nobody knows.
Here we go. There. Right, so, next topic is Assassin's Creed 4. Now that it's been a few weeks, I kind of want to talk about the plot and all that stuff, because we haven't been able to do that. The main plot's kind of rubbish.
Spoilers.
As is the whole side plot with working in Abstergo Entertainment.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
They could have
How
done
far
it
in?
better.
How far are you in, Kenchi? I just want to know.
All right.
You're gonna spoil it anyway, but
yeah, I don't care if you spoil it. I'm like past 25% in, not that far in. I'm just past the point where he finds out that Kid is an assassin. Just past that point. I also took on one of the legendary ships, which was a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Was it in the top right corner?
It was the top right corner, and
We talked about that before.
I was kind of
Yeah. Everyone goes for the top right
You
corner.
don't
thinking
know-
it'll be the easy one. It's not the easy one.
You don't know fear until you see two level
giant
775
man-o-wars.
man-o-wars chasing you down.
Oh.
I had a friend that had like his entire ship maxed out. He got destroyed by those two.
In a storm,
Yeah.
and they had to make it storm, too, just to make it worse.
There is absolutely no point in going after those ships because you can only get like 10 grand from them when you beat them, and by that point you have to have your ship maxed out to even try and face them. And what are you going to spend the money on then? It's just an extra challenge that you can do at the end more than anything else.
You could add them to your fleet.
You can't. I tried.
I didn't think...
They sink as soon
Oh,
as
you can't even get them on
destroy.
your fleet bullshit. All right.
Nope.
Okay, that's not worth it then.
There is absolutely no point, unfortunately.
Word of
Like,
warning,
but-
though, don't try to go between them.
Yeah, there's a special tactic that you have to use for all the different ships.
Yeah.
One of them uses mortars a lot. One of them is very heavy with using the naval ram. One is a 2-on-1 fight, and they both try and broadside you at the same time, and it'll fucking wreck your ship
Like,
in one hit.
those fucking two ships, I didn't think they were that big until I got... until I actually attacked them.
Until you got too close to go away.
Yeah. And they're always faster than you as well. by
I
the
didn't
way.
look at the fucking... I didn't look through the scope until I realized, those are kind of big. And then I saw level 75 for both of them. I was like, fuck that.
Like, yeah, I could probably take... Oh, I can't take them.
I thought, okay, two ships. Maybe they're just legendary because they're two ships. No, they're both legendary, legit legendary ships, and there's two of them.
Yeah,
And all I've got
that
is,
was the whole thing.
And all I've got is my one little brig and my singing pirate crew. That's it. That's what I've got.
That's
I
all
love
you
the
need.
shanties. Can I say that again?
You only need the singing crew. That's all you need.
Yeah. Lowlands, lowlands away, my John. Anyway, anytime anyone brings up sea shanties, I'm going to sing that. I just am. It's just going to happen. You can't do anything about it. So yeah, the plot is kind of rubbish for the most part. There are good moments,
But there are lots of bad moments, too.
there are lots of mediocre moments, and most of the fun storyline moments are going to be the storylines you make while you're sailing the open seas.
Did you
go ahead.
Did you hear that the makers of Assassin's Creed 4
they want to do a Pirates game?
They're asking if you guys would if the fans would rather prefer it as a spin-off series.
I absolutely would, but I would rather they didn't do it in the whole, Golden Age of Pirates Caribbean thing. I'd like to see them do basically another world kind of thing, kind of like an Ocean Punk, like One Piece, where it's more than it is on Earth, like just mostly water, only there's small islands around.
Like a Suikoden 4 kind of world?
I don't know what that is, but I guess so.
Oh.
I keep thinking of Wind Waker now.
Yeah, so something kind of like that, only you actual pirates and you actually do piratey things. That would be good. I would love to play that, especially with the Assassin's Creed 4 pirate mechanics, with the ship sailing and all the stuff. That would be good.
Yeah.
They'd have to reinvent the fighting, because Assassin's Creed 4, like, actual melee fighting is boring to me.
It is a little bit, yeah.
I would like to see them maybe even, like, the ship upgrades get even more immersive.
Ridiculous.
Yes,
ridiculous.
I wanted to say ridiculous.
I want a pimp ship.
I want frickin' a ship with a frickin' flamethrowers in the front of it,
I want the most obnoxious ship you can ever imagine. Like,
yes.
if you read Shinobi of the High Seas, my tolerance for obnoxious ships is very high.
You had the hull painted bright orange.
Yeah, bright orange.
In fairness, that's in with the character, but still.
Yeah, like that. I want that level of obnoxiousness, just on what the ship can look like, not telling what it can do.
I would like to I would like to see them come up with very inventive ship weapons.
I want a ship with arms that can grab onto other ships. Like,
a ship with
just
blades.
Pick it up and shake it.
A ship with blades that shoot out the side.
I want a ship that can suplex other ships. I want a ship with, if you max out its melee, the ship can superplex other ships into the water.
Superplex. You mean suplex.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Ship that can pile.
Well, superplex because it's like a seismic toss that way, so you just jump up in the air with it. Like the ship jumps and starts spinning around the moon or something, and tosses it down on the ground.
Oh man,
that was a great battle. Fucking Charizard versus Magmar and doing the seismic toss, and the moon shows up while it's spinning around. That's off topic.
What's the topic? Seismic toss is a topic now?
It should be. Seismic toss is a great move. Well, it's not a great move, but it's a cool looking move. So, Assassin's Creed 4. Yeah, that was a fun game. The plot was a bit rubbish. It's strange. This is pretty much the reason I wanted to bring the topic up. You know Desmond?
Yeah.
You know how he had, like, no characterization until Revelations, maybe?
Yeah.
When they reveal that he was actually, raised as an assassin and his dad's an assassin and all that stuff.
I mean, he was just a player stand-in until you actually
until that moment when he starts talking about, I ran away from the farm, I think he called it, and started bartending in New York, I think it was, and then the Templars got me, and that's pretty much the characterization you get. Oh, and I hate my dad, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of came up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
He actually has good characterization now.
Yeah.
Now that he's dead.
Now that he's dead, you actually have enough characterization to almost care about him being dead.
Yeah, I mean, did you hear the audio logs in the...
Yeah. The whole...
Yeah. Oh, man.
Where he's talking to his dad.
Yeah, and he's talking about, I remember that one time when you were giving me stealth exercises, and I waited for hours trying to catch you unawares, and then I saw you... That was such a good fucking sequence!
That was... And it makes you wonder, why couldn't they have done that when he was, still around?
Because he was just supposed to be like a player stand-in until they realized people actually wanted him to have a character. And by then it was too late to fix anything, even though they tried.
So post-mortem characterization. That's a thing now.
Apparently. Now I regret that he died at the end of 3. Jesus Christ. Actually, I regret everything about 3, but... No, I don't regret everything about 3. I take that back because the pirate stuff came from 3.
Yeah, if you can regret everything but the ship mechanics from 3.
Yes.
That was epic. Every single part that was the best part of 3.
Yeah.
That and, like, I think the only part of 3 I liked that involved actual fighting were, like, the island things, the island raids. Like, when you had to, like, take Connor to, like, the islands and stuff.
Yeah, that
to,
was
like, search
okay.
for the treasure piece. Those were good.
Mm-hmm.
Those were better.
I guess.
Those were better than the actual missions were.
I kind of personally found the homestead thing interesting because I like upgrading home areas.
I mean, I don't care. I didn't care about that because nothing relevant occurred because of it. Like,
Yeah,
it had no impact on anything.
It didn't, but I just like the whole idea of
like even if I made like I maxed it out too and everything, but so what? Like I maxed out your farm. What does that get me? What am I?
Yeah, I get to play Little House on the Prairie for even longer.
It didn't look that much bigger. Like you couldn't jump off of it on. Like there was nothing. You developed it, but
there was no parkour stuff around it. You couldn't have fun running around, so you're just sort of plodding along on ground level all the time. And
yeah.
Oh, go here and then run back over here so that we can do this and run over. That's all it is, just running back and forth.
I do like upgrading the house in AC4.
Why?
Just the house.
It's literally just, I want to upgrade this, spend money.
I like it.
I want to upgrade this, spend money.
I have money to spare and I don't want it to look like crap.
You want to be respected.
You don't even do anything there. There's absolutely nothing there.
I can relax in my AC4 expensive house that's been renovated.
You know what I want to do when I relax from AC4? I cut my PlayStation off. I don't buy a house. I don't spend hours and hours getting fake money for a fake house with nothing in it to contribute to my gaming.
No. It's like an hours.
Really? If I'm going to spend money on a fucking base in a game, I want some shit in there that's worthwhile. It's worth spending on. Like, spend it like some fucking mini games in the house or something.
I can't think of many good upgradable houses in games. Like, what good ones?
2's good. 2, where you could buy paintings and you could... like, all the shops were upgradable, so you could get new items and all that stuff, and it started to look better, and you could add a brothel so that there'd be courtesans wandering around and all that stuff. That was fun stuff.
2 was okay, yeah. That's good. Can't think of any other games that really had good upgradable houses. Like...
That is a good question.
I'd almost say Fable, but that was still rubbish. And took way too long and was too clunky.
And in Fable 3, you just automatically
don't
castle. That game doesn't exist.
Okay, in Fable 2, though, you can buy the castle.
You can, yes.
But the only way to really get it, like, logically, aside from just buying all the real estate and being Mr. Realtor Man, is to get the wish at the end of the game, which is to give me all this money. I don't care about everybody who's dead, just give me money. And then everybody hates you.
And you don't get your dog back.
Yeah. So...
kind of screws you for the rest of the game, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, I say rest of the game.
But there isn't a rest of the game.
I can buy a new dog and new friends with my money.
I don't need you guys. I got money.
So, yeah, that was our AC4 topic that we needed to talk about, because I really need to get that Desmond thing off my chest. It's weird that I missed that character now that he's dead, and I finally find out what made him tick. It's a shame.
It's retroactively characterizing him.
Except it doesn't make sense, because wasn't he in the first game asking who the hell are the Templars?
Yeah, he was asking.
Have they been trained as an assassin?
He was asking all that in the first game. They had to retcon some shit so they could give him the character.
Maybe he was faking it. Is probably their excuse.
Yeah, it's probably their excuse if it comes up.
Yeah. What do you mean he didn't know about? Well, he was an assassin, so obviously he wouldn't tell them he was a straight out assassin. What are you, stupid?
Oh well, whatever. Do you think they should bring him back?
No.
That's the million-dollar question.
I mean, they were doing the whole Jesus motif with him at the end anyway, so...
Yeah, I guess.
If they do bring him back for anything, I'd almost be willing to see him as a young assassin before he ran away and everything.
That's
and
probably
then play it as, and then play as a sort of a modern day type thing. I'd be kind of okay with that. You know?
I guess they are using his genetic memory in the whole Abstergo entertainment thing, so they could do that.
They could do that.
I mean, it's not that much of a... I mean, they are using, like, flintlocks and stuff. I mean, I'm pretty sure they could upgrade it to, like, semi-automatic guns and stuff for, like, the more modern guard.
Mechanics-wise, I think it'd be trickier, but they've started doing watchdogs, which I think, if anything, might have started as an attempt at a modern-day Assassin's Creed. Maybe. It's very similar in that sense.
Because that baton-wielding shit that was going on was in 3, that with the modern-day stuff, that ain't gonna cut it.
Remember in Assassin's Creed 3, at the end of it, where you get a gun in the modern-day thing?
Yeah.
And you just walk through the hall and you just shoot people, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's just... Okay, this is what Assassin's Creed would be like in real life. You get a gun and you shoot people, and there's nothing they can do.
Yeah. Oh well.
Maybe if they had mine armor, like from AC4, just to flex
bullets. I
I
mean, isn't What's-Her-Face Stupid Head that ruined the plot of the 3rd game supposed to be running shit there too now? And she would have that kind of technology, I guess. Yeah. Being a precursor, whatever they're called.
I'm talking about, getting a way to sort of remove guns as sort of an aspect of the game, because that just, it feels slightly unfair if you were to take it into modern day, because in, AC4 and AC3, you have limited bullets because they're old guns, Like, to get more bullets, you would literally just buy more guns.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah, fucking 4 guns just strapped to his chest.
It's like if you're gonna have it where there's fully automatic machine guns, you gotta make it so that there's somehow not a big factor, because then you just get a shooter game.
Yeah, like they probably do some cover system or something. I don't know.
It was a bit sketchy in the end of the 2nd game when the Templars were mounting an assault on the assassin base, and then they pull out stun batons, like assaulting a base with melee weapons in modern day. It's like, what? What?
Yeah. It didn't have, like, any... I don't think the company had any, like, gun mechanics even, like, thought of at that point. They're like, they're underestimating them, so they'll use stun batons.
Sure.
Yeah, stun batons in the modern age to attack something. Like, I can go down the street and pick up an AR-15 now. I could be back, I could leave in 10 minutes and come back with an AR-15 and cock the rifle in the microphone so you know I have it.
Please don't do that.
So, Kenchi, Zombie Apocalypse, I'm seeking you out.
Okay, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Writing all characters. No, writing AU characters. My mistake. I'm reading the topic name wrong. So, when you change the plot and it ends up being a massive change in the grand scheme of things, even though it came from something very little, maybe, your characters will have to change with it. So, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
Everybody's... Kenchi, you want to go first, or?
No, go ahead. I pitched it because I wanted to see what you guys had to say first. So go ahead.
One of the things
you pitched it. Sure, you did.
I steal credit. I steal my credits.
Okay.
The thing that's pretty almost kind of goes along with writing AU characters is the whole OOC, out of character.
Yeah.
Because things are not the same as they are in canon. So really, you have to redefine what it means for them to be in character.
Yeah. I mean, take an example we know pretty well would be, say, Naruto. if he had grown up with parents, then he's less likely to have been a prankster, because he wouldn't have been seeking attention, because he would have had parents who would be giving him attention. He would be smarter, probably, because they would have forced an education onto him. He'd probably still be excitable, because, you know, some things about a person don't change that much.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So you've got to take into account what will change and what won't change about the character based on this decision, because it's events that shape who you are.
And even if you're going to start that timeline, like certain things that happened in that series' timeline that affected Naruto later on, if you didn't do certain things, he wouldn't turn out the way he was, like, currently.
Yeah.
Like, say, like in Better Left Unsaid, can I even bring this up? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like, in Better Left Unsaid, he never had the moment where he got punked out by, like, the Demon Brothers, Gozu and Meizu, and he never did the I'm never going to run away bullshit again, where I'm never going to run away and turn around. He never had the conflict with Zabuza where he solidified it. So in that series, he runs away a lot to, like, because that's, like, half of Team 10's strategies, to, like, retreat and get a better advantage, because Shikamaru is smart, and he knows you have to run sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's just, like, one caveat of stuff that changed. It's little, but things like that.
Yeah.
It affect how he develops, the kind of moves they use, the kind of attacks they use, or how they tackle certain things, stuff like that.
You've got to watch how a character evolves and develops in the main story, and make sure that you're not evolving them even though they didn't go through these events. Because they're important. They're going to be different people because they didn't do these things.
You know, pretty much all my fics are kind of AU. One of them I'm going to mention is Superhuman, you know, which Kenchi wanted me to write. I still haven't been able to finish the, you know, second chapter because I've been busy with school and everything. But and you know, Krillin doesn't have Goku there to sort of make him a better person. So he starts out as you know, he's what he would be in canon, selfish, a pervert. He's kind of a jerk, and you know, he tricks and manipulates people instead of straight up being, you know, the comic relief character. Or in M1N470, the whole thing's AU, and a good 3 or 4 characters, are very much different than how they'd be in canon because of something that happened at the beginning. Minato's main characterization that goes on is a result of the thing that happened in the beginning, where he is no longer fully human, and so he, you know, often questions his humanity and, you know, whether or not he should really fight for people that don't really, you know, that he at one point doesn't care for him.
Yeah, and plus in M1 and that one, it's pretty implied that he has amnesia. Yes.
He has difficulty remembering what exactly happened, but he can sort of slightly remember that something happened.
Yeah, but he absolutely does not remember the very beginning, like his first 10 years of life, right? Or is it 7 years? I forget.
He has, like, I'm going robot for a little bit.
The plot wouldn't make sense if he actually remembered all that stuff.
He has fleeting memories of before the whole thing, when he was in his first 7 years of life.
Memory loss is an odd thing when it comes to characterization as well. It's a little bit off topic, but we'll run with it. Because they don't remember the moments that define them. Do they still define them, though? That becomes a question.
It's a rather difficult topic, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Because there's a subconscious effect, too.
Yeah,
that's what I was expecting
problem
to hear, actually.
Yeah. That would almost be another topic that we could talk about, but it's amnesia, and it is the weakest and lamest plot device ever used by anyone, ever. So we're not going to be talking about amnesia in that sense. No offense, Zero, even though he used amnesia.
Technically, I never said he had amnesia. He just never really He just never really focuses on his past before everything happened.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we won't be talking about amnesia and how it's the cheapest possible way to make your protagonist become a blank slate for the reader or player or whatever to imprint themselves onto them.
I will admit that I did use amnesia in one other story, and in that the whole point is that he's trying to get his memories back.
Oh.
So
you did do one of those, okay.
Yeah, but the point is that, he it's MTC and he gets turned into a freaking heartless, and then he loses pretty much his entire heart, which is where all his memories are in Kingdom Hearts. So he basically is getting pieces of his heart back, and thus pieces of his memory back by social linking people.
Kingdom Hearts is a weird series.
It is weird. Enjoyable, but weird.
I'll be honest, the best part of that, the first game for me, was just the gummy ship building and all that stuff.
Second game is
better. I found that way too fun.
I like the second game better, personally.
For the second game, they just give you default ship layouts, and that just really put me off the game because that was my favorite part, just building something. Whatever. That was off topic. So, yeah, writing AU characters.
Yeah, you have to put together what events will now define them, what events would have defined them.
Yeah.
And separate them out. Keep note of that kind of thing. It's very important.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just going to mention M1N470 again because this is it's my biggest AU fic that I have.
Yeah.
And Mitsuru in that, normally she would have gone through most of her troubles alone, but in it she has Minato as a sort of a bodyguard with her. And because of that, she's not quite as cold or as in a sense, mature as she would have been in the canon. Because she didn't go through everything all alone with her father being distant and everything. And having all these expectations upon her. She had a little bit of relief there.
That's true. She did end up being a somewhat different person because, she had a friend, sort of.
That's another big part of, AU storytelling. If you're not going to have them interact, especially if you're not going to have them interact with their normal cast of people that would be around them. The people that you chose to have around them or choose to have an impact on them. Should have, you know what I'm saying,
I actually had, yeah.
Should imprint on them in some way.
Yeah. I actually have a little interesting thing where Aegis, who was deeply affected by the whole thing, and M1N470 has started talking to, basically her old memories have sort of solidified into its own sort of personality. So now it's basically the AU Aegis is now talking to the canon Aegis in her head. And that
was a weird thing.
It's a thing, though.
Yeah, I have no idea how that would come into AU characters thing, because, it's the canon character meeting the AU character. So, would the canon character have an effect on the AU character? Would the AU character have an effect on the canon character? How would they It becomes a very complicated situation very quickly when it comes to characterization. It becomes kind of like a Mobius strip of characterization. Strange. Anyway,
yeah, I got a lot on my plate with that.
Yeah, so AU characters, it's difficult. It's a lot more difficult than you'd think it would be. And it takes a lot more thought to do it right, I guess.
And don't be lazy and just throw the personality of the original canon character onto your character. Don't do that.
You can do that, but it's lazy, and your fic will be lesser for it.
What I see is actually worse is that they use that they use the whole AU thing as an excuse to make the character like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a line you must walk to do it right.
Yeah, I failed at that the first time. Whoops.
Everyone did.
Yeah. Setasoji is remarkably like me, in how he's a complete dick to just about everyone.
I was actually reading Face Every Shadow earlier, and I was like, this actually sounds kind of like Casey.
Yeah, go figure. Yeah. So that happened. Yeah. It's extrapolated a little bit. I do not have a parent that is a head of a massive global corporation or anything. So he was still a dick.
I wish you did, because you might send me stuff if you did.
Yeah, that... Yeah.
You know, on the topic of main characters, I just kind of want to say that... gosh, I forgot what I was going to say. Give me a sec.
Okay.
The whole idea of the character kind of, I guess, stepping away from that role of being the main character and being all about them, and rather just being, you know, another character that you write. I feel like that's a kind of an important thing if you're going to be doing like a big story or or even an AU story. You know, you want to focus on how everybody else is kind of affected by this alternate universe. You kind of have to more so step away from that idea of the main character being the sole focus of the story.
It depends.
Yeah,
I think.
A little bit.
Whether you're trying to do an ensemble cast where every character is important and every character has a role to play, or you're writing a story where the main character is the linchpin and there wouldn't be a story without them.
Yeah, it does depend, but you know, I've been recently getting into that, and I've been kind of beginning to see my main characters as more of their own type of... They're kind of more separate, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. I mean, for example, you're actually a pretty damn good example. As far as Celestial Suicide Mage goes, an ensemble would be much better where Minato's just another character. Because he is just another character and things are going to happen, regardless. But for M1N470, which you insist on calling it that, can you just call it, like, I don't know, Code Minato or something?
Sure,
I don't know.
just call it that.
Sure. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, in that one, Minato and Aegis are linchpin characters. There would be no story without them. Because it would be a massively different story without them. So,
yeah,
I don't know. As far as making the main character just another character, it works in one of your stories, it doesn't work in another one.
Mm-hmm.
So there are situations where it works and it can help, and there are situations where you need to avoid that because the character is important, and they need to stay important and to focus.
Yeah, I was thinking of making of kind of doing that with Code Minato, as we're calling it now. But then I was like, that actually wouldn't work because it really focuses around, you know, him, and I guess more so than everybody else, because they're kind of the main characters, and it's kind of their story.
Kind of the point of the story.
Yeah. So AU fix. They can be done very well, or they can be done
very poorly.
Very poorly.
Kind of why I have a weird thing with these whole massively AU fics, where you get like the high school thing or the royal court thing, which is oddly popular.
I don't like the high school thing.
I don't like any of them, but
when you put characters that aren't in high school for no reason, and they're all
and then just slap the personalities on them anyway, it doesn't work very well.
It doesn't. I think I've seen. Gosh, how many different high school fics have there been? I know for a fact there's at least 10.
How many different high school fics have there been?
There's at least, I'd say maybe 10 to 100 Sonic ones.
There are at least 10 high school AU fics. This from King of Zero X.
I don't know.
I'm a failure. I'm sorry.
That's a quotable. If I'm going to pimp the show again in a chapter, I'm going to put a quote for the show in it, and that might be the one that I put in there.
I just typed in high school AU in fanfiction search. There are 6,410 of them, apparently.
Aha!
That at least have those specific parameters.
No,
6,400
6,000
off.
that say that in their summary.
Yes,
I was
that's very
only
true.
6,400 off from guessing the correct amount of AU fix.
Not counting the thousands of others that don't even have it in their summary.
I was talking about for one category. It's a 10 to 100. I'm a failure. Never mind.
Well, if I was to just type in high school, then that would come up with a hell of a lot of fix. Like anything from High School DxD or High School of the Dead or, I don't know, a lot of Buffy fix or whatever. Because they're all set in high school anyway. Anyway.
Just gonna sit in the corner and play my Final Fantasy VII.
It sucks. I just pissed off like 90% of the internet, didn't I?
Yeah, I will stab you.
Whoops.
Here comes the hate mail.
Yay.
Aim it at
So I look forward to it.
Aim it at KCW.
Yeah.
Not me. I love that game.
Alright, we'll move on to the next topic because I think we've pretty thoroughly covered that one. And some other bits and pieces. So, how to do villains. I think we've touched on this before, but
now we're going to be covering another aspect of it.
Yeah. So, villains often are more interesting than the protagonist of your story.
Yep.
Yeah.
I fail to see that as a bad thing. But there's differing opinions on that. So we'll talk about how best to handle a villain when it comes to how interesting they are as a character and how cool they are, I think was the specific wording we gave it.
I like a developing villain. I like a villain that, like, most of the time when you have a main antagonist, they're pretty much going to be they're pretty much 90% of the time going to be stronger than the protagonist is, your main character. They're going to be stronger than to begin with, but for some reason, I find there's a charm to a villain that gets stronger over time, that has to keep growing.
Yeah.
As well.
I'm gonna have to jump in. I like how you said you like a developing villain, because that, as far as character goes, I also like a developing villain, where their motivations are still unclear and they haven't quite grasped what exactly they're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're still trying to work it all out. I mean, a lot of the time, your big bad guy would end up with just, I have this plan, I'm going to carry this out, and the world will be better or worse or whatever they're trying to go for. And they'll have already sussed everything out, and it'll just be the hero's job to stop them. I'm more in favor of an idea where, like, I'm going to do the fucking Naruto example again, but you have, what's his name? Obito, Madara.
Whatever the hell you want to call him, doesn't matter.
Yeah. He has a plan. It's a stupid plan, but it's a plan, and he's going to carry it out because he's a stupid person. But that's his big end game, and he's going to work towards it. Then you have Sasuke, who is undoubtedly a villain, and should have stayed a villain, at least for the sake of just keeping him fucking consistent for once. But he was a villain, but he had no idea why he was a villain and what he was trying to do. And for a while, that was interesting, and then it sort of went off the rails, and he just kind of went a bit batshit. Which, I guess, is kind of a valid way to say the character. I just wish I don't think Sasuke's characterization was at fault there. I think Naruto's was, personally. But that's just me.
Out of that series, I think the villain with the, like, motivations and character that I like the most, and it's probably obvious, is Orochimaru. I liked his the most. Because it was like, oh, I want to live forever because I want to learn every jutsu in existence. That's pretty simple, but it's also, you can do anything with that. That's a pretty wide scope of which to, like, because he really only caused trouble because he was bored. Like, the only reason he got involved at all was because he was bored, and he wanted to destroy. And hey, I'm bored. Let's destroy Konoha. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make Suna and Konoha fight. That sounds fun. Let's do that. That was the entire reason he got involved in the series in the first place to start. And he just found,
was it really?
Yeah, and that was the only reason he did that, because he was bored. That was what he said. And him finding Sasuke was just secondary. Like, oh, I found Sasuke. He has Sharingan. Yeah, let's do that while we're at it.
Orochimaru just became a much more interesting villain to me. That's how it works, apparently.
That's how it happened. Like, that's
Yeah.
that's basically the gist of it.
Mm.
So I took that, and I pimped him out in my story.
Yeah. So I guess there you have a developed villain who has developed into something that just wants to, I don't know, develop more. Which it's kind of the best of both worlds, I guess.
I have other stuff I'm going to do with him that falls in line with his original, like, everything else, but I'm saving that for later.
I keep thinking, when we're talking about villains that develop, I keep thinking of, any of you ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yep.
I have.
Yeah. I keep thinking of, Zuko.
Oh.
I keep thinking he was, originally a villain, and then he developed into an anti-hero, and then eventually a good guy.
Heel face turn.
Yeah.
Oh, he did more than a heel face turn. He did a heel face turn.
Yeah, he really did. I'm a villain. I'm an anti-hero. I'm a villain again. I'm an anti-hero. Oh, I want to be a friend now.
Yeah, but it's like the perfect example of what I was talking about. He was a developing villain because he was a villain, but he didn't really know why he was a villain.
Yeah.
So that was amazing, and he was probably the standout character of the show because of it.
I would have actually watched the show if it was just him.
Yeah.
Whereas Aang, did he really develop much?
No.
Not really.
Ever.
That's a problem that main characters fall into, is the lack of development, whereas their villains tend to get more development.
Yeah, like everybody on that show developed except for Aang, pretty much.
Sasuke got more mature and everything, Katara too, and everybody kind of grew up except for him.
Kind of. I mean, there were moments, but I think it's kind of a little bit justified in Aang because he was the last airbender. So he kind of had to stay as he was to exemplify airbenders as he remembered them, I guess. I don't know. Aang is an odd character for various reasons. It's hard to justify developing what was he, 10, 12?
12.
Yeah. I mean, he was still a kid, but he acted sometimes he acted like an adult and sometimes he acted like a little kid. In every sense.
He had situational retardation.
Yeah.
Situational retardation.
There's probably a smoother way to say that, but I can't.
It almost sounds like a technical term.
It almost sounds
until
like
you think about it for
yeah.
half a second, and then it's just like, no.
He had situational derp. Like.
But you know, it's villains can. I want to mention another villain that develops. I think Vegeta from DBZ. He's probably one of the few characters that actually gets development of any kind.
Like, it was kind of necessary for him because you can't go from I'm going to kill everyone on this freaking planet because I'm losing this fight to I'm going to blow myself up for my wife and kids without some serious development.
He still hates everyone for an entire 2 or 3 sagas, and but you can see him slowly getting more.
Like he had to develop on Namek because there was nobody else there that could conceivably even survive against the people there until Goku got there. So he had to do a lot of.
He developed on Namek. Yeah, he developed in each of the sagas. He developed on Namek. He developed in the Cell Saga when he had his whole sun thing. Yeah.
And then eventually die kind of fixed that most of it. And then
and then after that, he's actually a better father than Goku, who remains dead for half the time that his son is alive.
You watch Abridged, don't you? Wouldn't have brought that up if you didn't watch Abridged.
Oh yeah. Oh.
I still don't get that show.
What, the original or Abridged?
The original. I mean, if I have to call something out specifically, and I did read this on the Dragon Ball Wiki, it was like, at one point the characters themselves call out the fact that the idea of going Super Saiyan, which was a legendary thing that had Frieza, the, I don't know, king or emperor of the galaxy or whatever, pissing himself in fear of the mere idea of it, has become a children's toy. Because the kids have learned how to fucking go Super Saiyan at 10 years old.
Actually, they kind of amended
8 years
that.
old.
Oh, I'm sorry. 8 years old.
They kind of
7 years
amended that. They kind of amended that in the canon Battle of the Gods movie. They said that the whole legendary Super Saiyan thing was actually the Super Saiyan God form that was, far above everything else.
That kind of makes it worse, actually.
Whereas Super Saiyan,
Okay.
it's kind of like, I don't know. If you believe the frickin' non-canon episode of Bardock where he goes back in time and becomes a Super Saiyan, then it's Bardock they're all scared of. Full Frieza's whole family.
Okay.
I like in the DBZ fighting game, some of the characters will have special dialogue if you pair them to fight against each other. But if you pair Frieza to fight against legendary Super Saiyan Broly, he flips out.
He better.
He's like, no, what is this? You can't be. And he's just like freaking pissing himself.
And it's totally justifiable.
Okay. For the uninitiated, who the fuck is Broly?
Oh, God.
No. Broly is a character that basically owned every single character of DBZ at the same time, and it took them all to just try to take him down.
And it took 5 movies to kill him.
He's non-canon, technically.
Okay.
But he should be.
He should be. I'm gonna just... So Casey can see, I'll just link an image of him.
Okay.
How can I explain it to him? Okay. Let's see. It's the most broken Super Saiyan version, period.
Actually, Casey, just type in Google Broly DBZ and look at images.
Okay, I'll do that right now. So, vamp for me.
I'll explain half of what you need to know. Just a picture.
The American release of his movie has a whole bunch of just rock and heavy metal music where it's just, I think one song is, I'm smaller than you, so don't hurt me. It's...
Okay. I'm seeing what could easily be a Norse god.
Exactly.
That's pretty much Broly.
Okay. Okay.
Learn about this character.
No thanks. So yeah.
I'm just looking at the picture of him just holding Goku by his
By
head.
the face.
By the face. And Goku's like, I can't do anything.
Is that right before or right after he eats a Kamehameha to the face and just smiles at Goku when he does it?
Oh man, I need to watch that movie again. Oh, it's so great because he's so overpowered. He's overpowered for the point of being just so he can be overpowered.
And he doesn't get like any Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan 3 and all that shit. No, he just has the first Super Saiyan.
Legendary Super Saiyan. He does. If freaking they made a Super Saiyan 3 thing for him in one of the games.
I remember.
So terrifying. Like I think if you put Vegeta against him, Vegeta starts freaking out.
He did freak out. He freaked out in the movie when he found out he wasn't Super Saiyan. He freaked out.
Super Saiyan 3, he just probably craps himself right on the spot.
Okay. We're going to stop talking about Dragon Ball before I need to make it taboo like I did with the other thing.
Not getting off Broly. We don't...
You don't get off Broly. Broly lets you get off.
Gross.
By killing doing jokes instead of Chuck Norris jokes.
Oh, man.
You mean Kenchi jokes?
The fans The fans have only heard 2 of those. Most of those go on in the text chat.
In fairness, yeah. Okay, so how to do villains? That's what we were talking about at some point.
And then he got
Broly is apparently a majestic example of how to do a villain.
He's not how to do a villain.
He's not. His characterization is he wants to kill people. Nope.
Eat him.
Literally, the reason for him hating Goku is because when they were babies, Goku cried very loudly in the crib next to him.
And that's it. He has no characterization outside of before he was introduced. That's his characterization. He doesn't develop as a character. He just, when he shows up, people die, and Super Saiyans are ineffective for the rest of the time.
When he shows up, galaxies disappear. Like, it's All
right, we need to stop.
He just yells Kakarot, and then hits Goku in the face and knocks him all the way to the other side of the planet.
Okay. So, yeah, how to do villains.
Don't do a Broly unless you want some wicked, awesome destruction and nothing else.
Fair call. So, yeah, that was a topic. I think.
It was.
Was it a topic?
It was until we started talking about DBZ villains. And then we talked about Vegeta. And then we started bitching about Super Saiyans. And then we talked about the only one that was ever done right in Broly.
Broly, done right for your pleasure.
All right, host. We're done.
Right, okay. We're moving on because I have no idea where to go from there. I really don't. We were talking about villains for a while, but then things happened. Okay, we had a question, and we're going to ask it because Ethan's bugged off. Kenchi will explain the concept, but get to it, Zero. I forgot what it was.
If you did have a persona, what would be your summoning method? And by that, you can either face your shadow, which is manifesting of your weaknesses, your fears, the things you keep hidden deep inside you, or putting an evoker to your head and pulling the trigger. So, which summoning method would be yours? What would your persona be? It has to be unique, apparently. And what flaw would you say best exemplifies to your character yourself? So basically, what would your shadow use against you? That would be your flaw.
Okay, we'll answer parts of this, I think. Yeah. The parts we're comfortable with. So, alright, Kenchi, the way it works is, you can either face your deepest, darkest, horrible things that you hate about yourself that you don't want to think about, or you could put a gun to your head and pull the trigger. Either way, you will get a persona, which is, most of the time, a mythological figure that represents your inner self. And fights for you.
By the gun metaphor, you mean do the thing that you're super ultimately afraid of to have your power or whatever?
I guess, yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
So, like, for me, that would be, like, I'm afraid of things I can't see.
I think it's not... I think the idea is that it's putting a gun to your head and pulling the trigger, as in you're willing to kill yourself to do this thing that you need to do.
You have basically you have an evoker, you stick it to your head, you pull a trigger, persona comes out, everything's nice.
Yeah. So, or you could face the deepest, darkest secrets about yourself.
I don't have any of those, actually. Really.
Yeah, you kind of do. Everyone does.
I really don't.
It's the things that you cannot accept about yourself because they disgust you that much.
That's really not something I can think of off the top of my head because...
we're not going to ask that part because that's really kind of fucking personal.
Like, it's not the personal thing, it's that I can't even think about it. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's the things that you reject about yourself,
I think I'm awesome.
Yeah, I stopped rejecting everything about myself a long time ago, so I'd pretty much face myself, and then he'd be like, "What's up, bro?" I'd be like, "Nothing much," then I get my persona.
Might be kind of like, yeah, we're kind of dickheads, aren't we? Yeah, we're kind of dickheads. So you're going to be a persona? Yeah, okay, yeah. Whatever.
There's nothing about myself that I really feel the need to, like, keep hidden or not accept, because frickin' I went through a period of depression in my life, where I was kind of like, life just sucks and everything, but I got over that, and I was like, you know what, I'm an awesome person, even if I suck sometimes.
Yeah, I thought I sucked, and then I met everyone then I met, like, several people from high school, And I realized, huh.
And they suck more.
Yeah, they suck more, so I'm fine. Like, I'm doing great compared to that, so yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll consider this the rest of the question, then just leave everything else. What mythological figure, or deific figure, or whatever you want to consider it, would represent your inner self?
Chuck Norris.
I would love to see
I really should have expected that.
I'd love to see Kenchi get Chuck Norris. So
Okay.
With the power to rip holes in space-time continuum with one roundhouse kick.
With a black belt on the beard that you grow on your dick?
Yes.
Yeah. Epic rap battles.
Yeah.
Epic rap battles of history is kind of awesome. I do remember most of those lines because I fucking listened to the whole goddamn thing.
For slaves, but Chuck is everyone's master.
Yeah.
I'd probably get Arlecchino.
The swimming water just wants to be around me. Sorry, what?
I'd probably go with something slightly not as ancient, or rather as some of the other ones, not as ancient as Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is pretty recent, but probably Arlecchino or Harley Quinn from Commedia dell'arte, which is he has his kind of own sort of comedic type show, and there's a lot to him. He's basically, I guess more or less a clown, but he was so popular that he got his own, like, Renaissance type play series things, where basically it would be different every time they performed it. That's the whole point of Commedia dell'arte. It's different every time it's performed. The characters are the same, but the plot and exactly what happens is pretty much different every time.
Sounds cool, actually.
I actually did a Commedia dell'arte play before, and I actually played Arlecchino. And at one point, there were two characters having a romantic moment, and we wrote the script for this, so there were two characters having a romantic moment. So I would peek my head out one end of the curtain, and I would say, "I can show you the world." Then I'd go around the curtain, go all the way to the other side of the stage, and be like, "No, it was actually no. It wasn't. I can show you the world. It was. I peeked out and I said." It's Kiss the Girl from Little Mermaid was when I was singing. You've got to kiss the girl. And I go to the other side and I just say the next line and I just go back and forth and eventually I just start sneaking up like behind them singing. Because I was a freaking clown. And they're like trying to have a romantic moment and this awkward guy this guy is coming out and he's singing, he's making everything awkward.
And that would be your mythical god.
Yes. Yes. Because trolls. Basically the troll of the acting world.
How would that be used in a fight, exactly?
I'd make everybody confused and awkward.
Tentarafu. Fucking confused move.
Yeah.
That's all you'd have, ever.
Or Zeo and Zayanga and Zayadine, for that electric spark I ignite in other people.
Fucking dumbass. Oh.
What about you, Casey?
I honestly have no idea. I assume it would be something Celtic.
Mine, I'm changing mine. Mine would be L. Ron Hubbard.
Okay.
That reference fell flat.
He was the guy that Scientology, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Nobody cares about L. Ron Hubbard.
In fairness, it's well...
Apparently some people do in California.
Some people do, I ignore them.
Would he count as a deific figure?
That he doesn't. That's why I said it, because it's supposed to be a joke.
He certainly doesn't count as a mythic figure, but or is he like a prophet kind of thing?
Well, hey, Alice from Alice in Wonderland counted, so I'm guessing old famous
in fairness, yeah.
literature and other things counts. That's why I said Arlecchino.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Kenchi, Alice in Wonderland is the strongest in death magic.
Yeah,
of course it is.
Just throwing that out there.
Her move is die for me.
It's literally called Die For Me with an exclamation point.
Card soldiers rain down from the sky and instant kill everything.
Yeah.
For some reason, that seems appropriate.
Yeah.
In the SMT games, she's of the undead group.
Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, and she is of the Death Arcana somehow. She's the ultimate of the Death Arcana. Alice in Wonderland, the blonde girl in the little blue dress. Sure, why not?
Well, I actually fused her for my little brother the other day. He was playing Persona 3 Portable.
Mm.
But it turns out the things that he had to fuse her had crappy attack moves. So she's got
so it got no decent moves.
She's got like Die For Me and then like Magaru.
Zio and fucking
Zio.
Yeah.
Just get Zio. Oh man.
Anyway, yeah, I have no idea what mine would be. And Thragosh, the fucking Welsh dragon. Sure, why not?
That's actually pretty cool.
By the way, that's the one on the flag, and they pronounce it wrong in High School DxD.
They pronounce most things wrong in animes.
In fairness, it's fucking Japanese. Japanese trying to do English barely ever works. How are they going to do Welsh?
It's
two D's together is pronounced as in the.
Oh, that's interesting.
And two L's is pronounced by the way, as well.
I'm learning more. Soon I will be able to speak Welsh.
You're not going to remember this in like 6 minutes. We're going to quiz you
what?
again. We're going to quiz you again at the end of this podcast. You're not going to remember any of this shit.
Remember what?
I know exactly one phrase in Welsh, and that's how to call someone a dirty pig. Anyway, so last topic. Is this going to be a short one? It's not going to be a short. Fucking hell! We had 3 people on, we still managed to talk for an hour and 40 minutes. What the fuck?
That's still very short compared to normal. We're 20 minutes short.
Okay, I guess so. Yeah, so on to the last topic, which is recommendations, which we always do. Anyone got anything?
Let me think. I'll have to search through my stuff again. Give me a sec.
Alright. I can cut stuff if need be.
Okay, I'm going to go with one.
Okay.
I don't think I've said this one before. I'm going to offer you a high school fic.
Yay!
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
so
I knew that'd get you.
Oh, sorry, I did that wrong. Yay!
But wait. I want you to give it a chance because it's going to flip your shit on its lid and after a few chapters. I want you to read a story called Ricochet by Strix4. It's a Naruto fanfic. It takes place in the high school universe, but it's going to mindfuck you around chapter 5 or 6.
Okay.
Just trust me. Give it
Fair
a
enough.
chance. It's also hilarious.
All
and
right.
you don't take it seriously at all until it fucking drops you on your head. It's very good for what it is. Which is actually pretty damn good in itself. It involves, like, Team 7.
But it's a Naruto fic.
Yeah. Only Team 7. And you'll understand what I mean when you read it.
Okay.
Only 7. Okay, I've got 2 fics.
Alright. Mess up with one and make a note of the other one.
Okay, so the one I want to recommend is it's a crossover between Mega Man and the Familiar of Zero.
Okay.
Where they bring over Zero from the Mega Man Zero games after the end of it, when he supposedly, it's implied that he died, but really just fell out into outer space. You know?
Familiar of Zero. Oh.
It's called, the fic is called The Blade of the Void, and he basically gets summoned as he's falling out into outer space. And it's interesting in the way they, I like how they characterize Zero. Because he's a character that's a hero, but doesn't think of himself as one.
Does Zero become the Familiar of Zero?
Yes.
Someone had to ask that.
Yeah.
They didn't, but you had to.
It's Zero talking about Zero becoming the Familiar of Zero.
Yeah. So I'm someone, so someone had to ask that.
Yeah.
Someone had
I
to.
count as a person.
Normally it would have been Ethan, and you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And now I feel bad because he's not here.
Yeah. Oh well.
But it's a good story in the way he interacts with everybody because he's freaking from the Mega Man games. He has the power to basically wipe out like billions of people because freaking he's got a sword and everything. But he has his like problems, like the copies of the original Mega Man and or the copies of X and Zero appear, and they're like villains because somebody else survived and they were summoned. And like the original Mega Man shows up, and he's there with Roll, and they're kind of like helping him. It's good. It melds the series well, like as in it's sort of they're kind of relics of the past in a way, or something happened, and I can't remember the specifics because it's been a long time since I read this, but I remember liking it a lot.
Okay. Billions of people, huh? I have not been paying enough attention to the Mega Man series.
In Mega Man Zero, his body gets taken over. So then basically he gets kicked out of his body, and then his body has the potential to basically wipe out all of humankind, because Wily made him to basically be the most powerful robot. So,
okay.
he was...
So he's Shadow, then.
He's
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Except he's better. He's better.
I am the ultimate.
Hey, Zero came out before Shadow the Hedgehog. Technically. But he's been around for a while. He kind of set that precedence, and I think they kind of copied him with Shadow, and if anything. But he's better. He makes for a good main character. You wouldn't think so, but like once you played the Mega Man Zero games and other things, you really get to see that he's an interesting character. He's it works well with the series. So yeah, that's my recommendation. The Blade of the Void is what it's called. If I haven't said that already, I think I did. The other recommendation is also another familiar of Zero Fit, because I feel like recommending these because they're old and I haven't read them in a long time and whatever. And it's called Stupid Devil Dog. And it's basically where Saito Hiraga, the guy who's summoned as her familiar, is wanted to be in the military, and he was a big guy who was in the ROTC. He was going to join the ROTC, and he was a smart, strong military dude, and he stands up for no crap.
Okay.
Because you know that in the familiar Zero franchise, Louise chick always gives the main character crap, and she's like,
yeah,
he doesn't stand up for that. He does not stand up for that. He doesn't stand. It's inserting a different personality into a character that would normally be a weak, typical harem type protagonist. And I always like that when they stop being weak, and when it's one of these series where they just have the big, she's tsundere and she's cute, so she can abuse the main character all she wants.
Yeah, that always weirds me out when that happens.
Yeah. So I like seeing a character that can fight back against that and resist that. So those are my two recommendations.
Can I just mention that never hit a girl thing always pisses me off. Always.
Yeah. It really kind of does.
You guys.
As someone who has been noticeably weaker than 90% of people, because I can't see a punch coming, the idea that I can't hit back because she has no dick is ridiculous. So, even my mom, who happens to be a woman, has told me, hit a fucking girl if she hits you. So, I can't stand that mentality where you can't hit back if they hit you first.
That's never been an issue for me.
Girls
Who exactly is going to hit an MMA fighter?
Yeah. It kind of doesn't come up that much.
They just expect you to go beast mode or something.
People don't usually hit me either. I typically punch them in the face when they do.
Mm.
I'm not a violent person, but I have to react somehow instinctively.
Yeah, you don't just take it. Never just take it. In fact, if you're a kid and listening to this, don't just take it. Hit back. Fight back. Retaliate.
Get close.
Do not just let
let
it go on.
Get close enough to headbutt them.
Yeah.
In the face. Don't headbutt them in the forehead. Headbutt them in the nose. That's where you aim.
Somebody's messing with you. Punch them, and then they'll be like, "It's more trouble to mess with you than to leave you alone."
No, no. They'll see a punch coming. Do that thing where you're gonna like get up in their face, and they're gonna get back in your face. So they think it's all it's because they think it's like a movie, and then you headbutt them in the face while they're close.
Or knee them in the balls, and then headbutt them.
I've done that like 7 times. People think it's a movie when I get in their face, like I'm going nose to nose with you, and I'm going to headbutt you.
Mm.
Or knee them in the balls, then when they kneel down, you elbow them down on their neck, the back of their neck, if you're tall enough. Actually,
the one tip I got for a fight was something my stepdad actually learned in the TAs, Territorial Army. If someone tries to start a fight with you and takes a swing at you, immediately drop down and punch them in the balls. 1, you will dodge the swing. 2, you will have punched them in the balls.
That's why you always start a fight with a jab.
Yeah.
In Taekwondo, I learned a set of moves where it was you basically send your arm down, kind of like in a sort of a knife hand position, into their balls, grab it, step, and remove.
Okay. Some of these moves we don't recommend actually doing.
I recommend doing all of these moves. Use them.
So when you're in court, remember, Kenchi knows best.
Yeah, because you don't know my actual name. So feel free to use my alias all you want to. Everything I said to you, I endorse you doing.
It's a good thing you love hate mail, Kenchi.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. I don't remember. It's not important. Okay, so, last recommendation, which is mine, is going to be an XCOM and Mass Effect crossover. Anyone played XCOM at all?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Aliens invade in 2013 or 2015 or something. And they are massively technologically superior to us, so we beat them by stealing all that shit and using ourselves, including psychic powers. So, in this fic, the whole XCOM thing happens, and then we expand, expecting to come up against, eventually, the warning that the attackers from XCOM give us at the end, which is basically, there's something bigger than us, and we were just trying to recruit you so that you could help us fight them. So Earth expands so that they can come up against this threat and face it, rather than waiting for them to come to Earth. And eventually they meet the Turians, who, being the Turians, wipe out the... what's the word for it? Recon party. And then XCOM meets Mass Effect, kind of thing. So, XCOM don't take particularly well to the Asari because they use, the meld thing, the psychic connection thing. They haven't actually played Mass Effect.
Yeah.
So they use that. So they try to use it so that they can learn human language. And the XCOM troopers, having been trained to freak the fuck out whenever psychic attacks happen, freak the fuck out when psychic things happen. So, yeah, XCOM make humans the standoffish race and become a separate entity to the council. It's an interesting fic. We've talked about developing AU characters and that kind of thing, and it does that pretty damn well as far as Shepard goes, because Shepard is still the protagonist. he was the Mindwar origin, so planet attacked by slaves and all that stuff. Ends up being a incredibly strong psychic soldier, so not biotic, psychic as in I will throw this fucking thing at you and squish you with it, rather than, pull and throw and all that stuff, which is actually tiny nothing in comparison. And ends up not being a Spectre because humans are separate entity to the Council, and Nihilus, the Spectre from the first game, is an escort, and he becomes a prominent character, which is good because I liked Nihilus as a character, what little we saw of him. So, it may or may not be abandoned. I'll say that now. The last update was in September. And you know why that sucks? Because the last chapter was right at the climax of the first game. As in, Saren just started storming the Citadel. And that's where it stops. Fucking bullshit. So, I'm hoping that's not dead. It may be, though. But it's like 200-something thousand words anyway.
Nothing ever dies.
Yeah, I sometimes go a while without updating, and I'd like to mention that on my profile I say which fics are dead and which fics aren't, and if the fic is on the list of still active fics, it's still active. Just hasn't been updated due to numerous problems.
Oh, I'll say this as well. It takes the whole this is kind of fighting, soldiers and people will die thing.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty seriously. I mean, it's a fucking XCOM crossover. XCOM is the series where your soldiers will die a lot. So, people will die a lot. Well, what the fuck are you eating? And why are you eating it on the fucking microphone?
Chips, I thought I muted my mic for it. I've been doing that.
You did not. Alright. So yeah, that's my recommendation. And you should definitely check it out if you're a Mass Effect fan. It is not that difficult to get into. The XCOM stuff is explained pretty damn well. So, there you go. I guess that's it. Anyone else want to bring up anything last minute?
No.
Yay. Alright. I love that video. Anyway. Alright, so, here is the outro. Here I go. I'm going to try and do it fast. Thank you for listening to episode 14 of the Fandom Flux podcast. If you would like to get in contact with us, you can do so on the Blogspot page through the comments, or you could do so through our Fandom Flux Twitter at Fandom Flux, or you could do so through our own personal profiles on fanfiction.net. I link them every week in the Blogspot page. Thank you once again for listening to the Fandom Flux podcast episode 14, and we're out.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay.